I'll just be the only one recording on the recording, not you guys. So we're gonna start our practice in a seated meditation. And you can choose whether you're crisscross or you're sitting on the heels or you're sitting in a chair. There's a lot of comfortable ways to find a seat, and I think sometimes we get caught up in this idea that we have to be crisscross, but in my opinion, it doesn't really matter as long as you're comfortable, as long as you find something that works for you. Invite length along your spine, vertebrae by vertebrae. And then maybe curl your shoulders up and soften them down the back. And then just let your head balance on both shoulders. So I was watching a meditation last night with my teacher. And he said, normal life is like pretty tangled. All of our experiences, all of our reactions, everything up in our heads, it's kind of like this big tangled mess. And then mindfulness is the practice of untangling things. So when you get really still and really quiet, you can almost untangle all of those knots and all of those, all of that chaos and kind of bring the strands to hang on their own. And then see what you find out when things are untangled. You can see them a bit more clearly. So for me, yoga is really a mindfulness practice. That's how it serves and benefits. And you stretch and you strengthen and get all that good stuff, but the key thing is caring for the mind and finding mindfulness. Or at least that's the key thing for me. So that could be your intention today. It could be just being mindful. And seeing what happens when you step into the doorway of the present moment through the breath. Now let's take one more breath in seated. And then when you take your next breath in, you're going to sweep your arms up towards the sky. And we're going to get into a little bit of a rhythm here. So exhale your palms through heart center. And then we'll just do a few more breath in circle. Breath out, hands at heart center. 2 more, inhale. Exhale. One more, inhale. One more, exhale. And then when you inhale, can you circle your palms all the way up? And then interlace the palms and push them up towards the sky. And then take a big breath in. And then exhale, go all the way over towards the right. So you're taking a lateral side bend and you're just gonna breathe into the left side body. And then take an inhale, come all the way up through center. And then side bend the opposite way, so over to the left. Inhale, come all the way up. Let's do each side one more time. So exhaling over towards the right. And then inhale, come all the way up through center. And then exhale over towards the left. Take a big breath in, reach through your fingertips. Separate the grip. And then exhale, twist towards the right knee. So you're gonna land your left palm on the right thigh and your right fingertips will like tent behind you. Yeah, you got it. And then lengthen up. And then just kind of turn over the right shoulder. And you might drop your right earlobe down towards your right shoulder. And then so you're getting a spinal twist and also a traps muscle stretch. How does that feel? And inhale, come all the way up through center, reach both arms up towards the sky. And then let's twist the opposite way. So you're gonna land your left palm, land your right palm, breathe in, and then twist. And then maybe drop your left earlobe down towards your left shoulder. And we'll lift all the way up, place both palms on heart center. And lift up off of your crossed legs and come into a tabletop. So in your tabletop, you're gonna have hands underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips. And if you have sensitive kneecaps, you can place some kind of blanket underneath the knees just so that they feel cushioned. And then we're gonna take some cat-cow flow. So inhaling, tilting at the pelvis, lifting the chin. And then exhaling, curling the spine and tucking the chin, cat. And then keep moving like this. Kind of rippling like a wave. While you're doing that, I'm gonna turn off my air conditioning. Too cold. I can never find the middle with this. If I have my air conditioning off, it gets way too hot. If I have it on, I get too cold. Let's take a few more cat-cows. And then you're gonna come all the way in through center. And then can you just sit the hips back on the heels and rest the forehead and let the arms be heavy. So this is called your Balasana, your child's pose. I think it's interesting that this pose is called child's pose Because how many times have you ever seen a kid just like calmly curled in this shape? I've never seen it. Kids are pretty wild. Kids are pretty antsy. They have a lot of energy. You don't often come into this shape. But this is meant to be a rest pose. This is meant to be a pose that you can come back to at any time in the session. You need rest, child's poses here. Now let's take one more breath. And then come all the way up to a table. Nice. From your tabletop, we're going to tuck the toes and lift all the way up and back to your first downward facing dog. So in your down dog, generally the intention here is to have your hips stretching up towards the sky and have your palms spreading. And then almost, if you can imagine, like closing in the armpits a little bit. So you're spreading through the back body. And then maybe it feels nice to bend one knee and bend the next. Now know that at any point, if down dog feels like too much, if it doesn't feel good for your shoulders or whatever, you could come back into a table. That's a-okay. This is meant to be a rest pose according to some teachers, but I'm well aware that it's not always restful to beginners. Maybe pedaling out for one more round of breath. And then can you bend the knees and then just walk the feet up to meet the hands? Nice. So you're coming to the front of your mat. And then grip the opposite elbows, bend the knees a lot, let your head dangle. This is a waterfall pose or a forward fold. I love this pose because it feels like you're just kind of releasing and emptying and letting go. The weight of your day kind of rolling off your back. Can you take one more round of breath? And then release the grip of your palms. And slowly, slowly roll up to stand vertebrae by vertebrae, stacking until the last thing that lands is your shoulders. And now find yourself in this strong mountain. So your soles of feet are pressing down and just let your hands flap open. My teacher, Rolf, I was just reading this really funny thing he posted about coming into Tadasana and asking his students to be in this mountain, and they come in and with their Starbucks and their Lululemon and they look at him as if to say, like, you're gonna make me stand doing nothing and say it's a yoga pose. And he talks about how there's a difference between like just standing and then standing with energy and intention, being here now. And so you can almost feel that clarity and contrast between being very meh and being here. Maybe taking a breath, inhaling here. Exhaling now. One more inhale here. One more exhale now. And we're going to travel through some half Surya Namaskar. Okay, so keeping your feet on the mat as they are. These are half sun salutations. You're going to inhale, reach your arms up towards the sky, upward mountain. And then exhale, forward fold. Take an inhale, halfway lift. And then take an exhale, fold. Oh, good, Emma's here, nice. And then take an inhale, reach your arms all the way up, circle through the palms. And then exhale, palms at heart center. Now let's move through two more. Inhaling, reach the arms all the way up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale, reach your arms all the way up. And then exhale your palms at heart center. Taking one more breath in. Breath out. Breath in. Breath out. And then breath in, reach everything all the way up. And then exhale your palms at heart center. This time, inhale, reach the arms all the way up. Take an exhale, forward fold. We're just gonna add on a tiny bit. So taking an inhale, half lift. Taking an exhale, fold, and then leave your right foot where it is and just step your left foot all the way back on the mat. Nice, and then you can just do some rocks forward and back, getting into the hip crease. How does that feel? Nice, and then land onto the left knee. So we're coming into what's called an Anjaneyasana or a low lunge. So generally the alignment here is that you want your right knee above your right ankle. Take an inhale, reach your arms up towards the sky. And then just kind of have an energy and intention through the arms, get a softness through the shoulders. Settle your gaze. Let's hold this twist for 5 breaths, not a twist, a lunge. Inhale, and then exhale. Breath in. Breath out. Breath in. Breath out. Just 2 more. Now, after your next inhale, you're going to reach both arms to the front of the room. And now leave your left arm where it is. See if you can start to pull your right arm back, almost like you're pulling back a bow and arrow. And then eventually your right arm is going to open towards the side. So now we're taking a twist in our low lunge. Nice, you got it. Now, see if you can start reaching your left arm forward, forward, forward. And then eventually your left arm is going to land on the mat. So your left hand is on the mat on the inside of the right foot. Okay, you got it. And then you can either leave your right arm where it is, or you might land the right palm on the sacrum. So that's like the bone at the base of the spine. And then just kind of gaze over the right shoulder. How does that feel for you today? Now, can you unwind that right arm? And then land your right palm on the other side of the right foot. And then start walking the palms back as you lengthen over the right leg. So this is a hamstring stretch. It can be quite intense if you have tight hamstrings. When I teach inside the studio, I have people put their hands up on blocks. I'm aware that especially in a beginner's class, we probably don't have yoga blocks. So you can always have your hands on a piece of furniture. You can have them on books. Yeah, modify as needed. Try to have a little micro bend in the right knee and be really gentle with it. And then we'll take a few more breaths, humbling the heart. Perhaps as you humble here, choosing something to almost devote your practice to. It might be your own well-being. It might be someone in your life, science, human potential, whatever you believe in. Take one more breath. And then we're gonna walk our palms forward. Nice, and then can you step your right foot all the way back so that it comes to be beside the left knee and both knees are on the mat. And you're in a low lunge, you're not a low lunge, a low plank here, your knees are grounded. And then can you slowly lower, elbows drawing all the way back. So this is a modified chaturanga. In the more intermediate classes, you'll see people doing it with their knees lifted, but we'll do it with knees lowered today. Now take your fingertips off the mat, so you're tenting the fingertips, and elbows are pointing straight up towards the sky. And then we're gonna move through some flows, lifting up, and then lowering back down. So I learned to call the way we have our hands here, cupcake fingers. And I could not figure out why they're cupcake fingers. I've begun to understand it's because when you pick up a cupcake, you do it like this because you don't want to squash the icing, yeah? But I think that word cupcake fingers, it's just confusing for people. So I heard my yoga teacher, Mark, call them tented fingers, and I'm like, that makes a lot more sense. So the reason why you have your fingers tented here, it's not to make it super uncomfortable. It is to try to make this engagement and the strength come from your back and your core. Because if we're fully pressing into the palms, then we're just kind of shoving ourselves up into the back bend. And we might push ourselves too far, then we can safely go. So if we tent the fingers, it encourages engagement in the core, the back. Maybe just taking one more. Nice, and then lowering back down. Take your palms underneath your shoulders, push up to a table, and then come all the way back to your down dog and stay in your down dog for a few rounds of breath. Now I'm gonna turn my air conditioning back on because we're at war with each other and it's too hot. And then can you bend the knees and gaze forward and then just step your feet up to meet your hands, front of the mat. Take an inhale, halfway lift. Take an exhale, fold, you got it. And then this time we're gonna step our toe mounts together. We're gonna bend through the knees, sit back and find your Utkatasana, your chair. So this is everyone's favorite pose. Everyone's always like, I want to do chair more. Let's do more chair. Just kidding, it's pretty uncomfortable. No one really likes chair. Can you be in your chair pose here and be okay with it? Just reminding yourself that you're not going to be here forever, just a few rounds of breath. And what tools can you use to calm your mind? Can you breathe deeply and evenly? Can you practice mindfulness? Inhale here, exhale now. Can you tell yourself a story? The story being, we're not going to be here forever, don't worry. You got this. Our yoga mat, it's like a petri dish where we can kind of examine our life because the same things that bug us in yoga bug us in life too. Okay, we're done here. Press through the feet, lift all the way up, big breath in. And then take your hands in heart center. Take a breath in. Take a breath out. And then we're gonna low lunge the opposite way. Inhale, arms up towards the sky. Exhale, fold. Take an inhale, halfway lift. You got it. Exhale, lower. Leave your left foot where it is. Step your right foot all the way back on the mat. Nice. And then you can do some like rocks forward and back, getting into the hip crease on this side. And then land the right knee on the mat. And we'll do the exact same thing, inhaling the arms up, finding your low lunge. Nice. So interesting. This is like not my typical style of teaching yoga. It's quite slow for me, but what I learn when I slow down is that you really feel and experience the poses. You really feel like, oh, my left hip is kind of tight. And you don't necessarily, or I don't necessarily feel that as much when I'm going through power vinyasa and I'm going boom, 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 boom. Inhale, exhale, move, move. So it's interesting to see the things that you can learn when you slow down. Take one more breath. And then can you reach the arms in front of you? Leave your right arm extended. Pull your left arm back if you're pulling back a bow and arrow. And then extend your left arm behind you. And then reach your right arm forward, and your right palm is going to go to the inside of your left foot, and your left arm is extending up towards the sky. You might be comfy here, or you might be happier with your left palm on your sacrum, gazing over the shoulder. Something I've learned about yoga over the years is like, when I was really young and new at yoga, I thought that there was like a perfect way to do every pose. And what I've learned is that every single person comes in here differently with their different stories, their different history, their different bodies. And so what feels good for me might not feel good for you. So everything is like an offering, and it's kind of your job to develop an intuition around like, does this work for me, or would it feel a little better differently? Take one more breath in your twist. And then unwind and take your left palm on the mat, and then walk your fingertips back as you lengthen over the left leg. And we'll take one more round of breath. Nice, and then walk your fingertips forward. And can you step your left knee alongside your right? And once again, we'll do the same thing, slowly lowering all the way down, elbows drawing back. And then take your palms off the mat, tented. And then mindfully move with the rhythm of the breath, inhaling the heart up and then exhaling it down. So what we're doing now is called Cobra Pose. It's just a gentle heart opener. Maybe taking 4 more. Then take your palms underneath your shoulders. Let's push up through a tabletop, and then just shift your way back into a child's pose. Rest your forehead. Take a few rounds of breath in stillness. Maybe noticing as your breath comes into your back body and sort of lifts your low back a little bit. And then as you exhale, feel your belly just softening and sinking towards your thighs. Nice, let's take one more round of breath in the child's pose. And then we're gonna make our way up through a tabletop. Nice, tuck your toes, come all the way up to a down dog. And then once again, walk your feet up to meet your hands, coming all the way to the front of the mat. Yeah, you got it. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. And then inhale, circle all the way up, reach the palms up overhead. Take your palms into your heart center. All right, so we're gonna do some of the basic standing poses. So let's keep our right foot exactly where it is in front of the mat, and you're gonna take a big step back with your left foot, and we're gonna open the hips towards the side of the mat. And then almost feel like if you look down your right heel, if you drew a line straight from the heel all the way to the left foot, it would be intersecting with the left inner arch. Okay, and then you're pressing down through the right big toe, you're pressing down through the outer edge of the left foot, and then arms reach and extend, one straight line. I have to tell you something funny. For like years and years, I give the cue of like, looking over your right arm, looking over your left arm, making sure you're making one straight line. And then it wasn't until I did a yoga photo shoot, my first yoga photo shoot in June of last year, I saw myself doing this pose and realized I do it like this. And you think your alignment is great, and then you see yourself on camera and you're like, okay. But again, I think sometimes you get very caught up in alignment rules. It's not super important as long as you're not like injuring yourself. If your knee is back here, it doesn't mean that you're not doing it properly, right? Every single body is different. Generally, the alignment principles are that the knee stacks over the ankle. So you can just check that alignment. And then something I see often is people's knee kind of curving inward. I don't know if you can see it that well on the camera, but that's a way to kind of make the pose a little easier, is curving the knee inward, but it's not good for the knee. So see if you can just draw it back until you see that alignment of stacking. And then we're gonna reverse the warrior. So we're gonna reach the left arm behind you and reach your right arm up. And then this kind of expands through your rib cage. And then come all the way back up through center. Lengthen through your right leg. We're gonna shorten our left foot a tiny bit. And then hinge forward. And take your right arm alongside your right calf and reach your left arm up towards the sky. This is Trikonasana triangle. So something I'll often see is people kind of reaching towards the mat. Different lineages of yoga teach it differently. Like I know Ashtanga teaches it reaching towards the mat. In my experience, what I've learned is that if you're reaching, then you collapse. Yeah, and the intention here is to spread through the collarbone, not kind of create more collapsing and tension. So see if you can just alter that and create an openness. And then we're just gonna stay for one more breath. And then can you bend through the right knee And then just take the palms onto the hips. And then we're gonna step the left foot all the way in so that your left foot is beside the right. And then step the right foot all the way back. And we're gonna do the opposite side. So wiggle your right foot back, back, back. Have your left knee stacking above your left ankle. And then when you're ready, reaching your arms out, finding that alignment. Now, what else do people do? People often reach like they're reaching for something, and just see if you can draw your spine back until it's coming kind of straight up, bone on bone. Settle your gaze over your fingertips. And then take an inhale, reverse your warrior, land your right palm, reach your left arm up behind you. And then you come all the way up, lengthen through your left leg, walk your right foot in a tiny bit, and then we're gonna hinge forward and take the left arm alongside the left leg and then reach your right arm up. Nice, bend through the left knee, lift all the way back up. Land your hands on your hips. We're gonna step back. Have your feet together. And let's take, you know what, we're gonna do 3 more poses. So we're gonna do warrior 1, warrior 3, and then tree pose. Okay, so for warrior 1, you step your right foot forward, your left foot back. And the difference here is that your hips are squared towards the front of the mat. So in warrior 2, your hips are going to the side. In warrior 1, your hips are squared towards the front of the mat. Your feet are a little bit wider. So if there's a line down the center of your mat, your feet are on either side. And then you can reach your arms up towards the sky. And then soften your shoulders and settle your gaze. So this is called warrior 1. And traditionally, you would do this pose with your hands together above your head. I think it's better with your hands apart. And it's kind of evolved in modern yoga to have hands apart, because with hands together, we sort of add more tension to the shoulders, which we don't need. Now take your palms into your heart center. See if you can shift weight onto your right foot. Trust that it will hold you. And then lift off so your left leg extends. This is warrior 3. And if you want to have your hands on like your wall or on your chair or on a couch, that is a lovely way to do this so that you're supported. Your balance feels wobbly or whatever. And then we're gonna tilt all the way up to stand and leave your right foot on the mat and take your left foot either to the inside of the ankle, so it's placed on the shin, maybe up on the calf, maybe on the thigh. The one goal is that you don't want the foot pressing into the knee. And then hands can come together at heart center, or they can lift up overhead. This is Vrikshasana, tree pose. This is one of my favorite yoga poses ever. If you find me in the classroom, I'm often standing at my stand-up desk in this tree. It's most comfortable for me. And then can you take one more breath? And then take your palms onto your hips. And we'll land the left foot and feel the difference of having both feet grounded. And then take the opposite side. So the left foot stays, the right foot steps all the way back, and then you bend through the left knee. Warrior one, arms can reach up towards the sky. Nice. I remember when I first started yoga, like the idea of holding your arms up overhead for such a long time was like so uncomfortable. It's funny how over the years, you just kind of get used to yoga poses. Like I forget, you know, how challenging they were from a beginner's perspective, but it's really hard. You don't walk around life with your arms overhead, do you? So know that you can always kind of let them go if it's too much at any point. And then if you're ready, trusting weight onto your left foot and lifting off into your warrior three and using whatever props you need, the wall, the chair, to hold on to. And then slowly tilt up to stand, taking the right knee in and placing the foot somewhere on the left leg. And then connecting your palms at your heart. Inhaling here. Exhaling now. Can you take one more breath? Land your right foot on the mat. We'll take one more half sun salutation. So inhaling, lifting the arms all the way up. Exhaling, lower. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, lower back down. Plant the palms. Step all the way back to your down dog. And then from your down dog, we're going to land the knees onto the mat. Sit all the way back. Just take the feet to one side. Bringing your bottom out to the center of the mat and kind of wiggling all the way. And we're just going to finish off with two more poses. So the first one is a bridge pose, and it's a really simple back bend that's just going to kind of stretch out your heart. Okay, so you press your feet, you press your palms, you lift your hips up, and then you roll the shoulder blades under and interlace the palms, pinky side down. Take in 3 more breaths. And then can you release the palms and slowly lower each and every vertebrae one at a time. And then take your knees into your chest. Open your arms into cactus arms. Drop your knees over to the right. Gaze over to the left. Place your right palm on the left thigh. And then open your right arm. Take the knees all the way through center. And then drop them the other way, so over to the left, landing your left palm, gazing over the right shoulder. It's all the way up, knees into the chest. Wrap the arms around the shins. Give yourself a nice little hug. And then we're gonna finish our practice in either a Shavasana or a seated meditation. I'm gonna lead you through a short favorite meditation of mine, and you can choose whether you wanna be stretched out, your legs extended, heels dropping out, or if you wanna come up to seated, either or. And this meditation is for releasing blocks and kind of letting go. So finding whatever shape is comfortable for you. Dropping into stillness within it. Closing the eyes, focusing on the space between the eyebrows. And taking deep breaths in and out, practicing yogic breath. So inhaling, stomach and diaphragm extend. Exhale, diaphragm gently contracts. Inhale, diaphragm extends, big balloon opening up. Exhale, it contracts. And then continue that cycle of breath, inhaling, extending, exhaling, contracting. And so we call upon the guidance of highest truth and compassion to enter this space now. We welcome love to come in and protect us, to guide us and to wake us up to our highest truth and our highest potential. We're here to accept and awaken the highest self within us. The subtle voice that knows that we have the infinite capacity to be and do all that we are here to bring forth. Asking now if we can clear this space and either invite in a guide who's holding a vacuum, or if you don't believe in guides or angels or whatever, then just imagine the vacuum on its own. So this beautiful dust buster is over the crown of your head, and the power button is pressed on. And it's suctioning up all that you have been holding, clearing you from your toes to your calves, to your shins, to your knees, to your thighs, to your butt, to your pelvis, to your stomach, to your chest, to your arms, to your fingertips, all the way to your throat, your face, your crown, releasing you. And on the inhale, just breathe all that crazy, crazy, crazy muck up. And on the exhale, let it loose. It's just growing out through your crown. It's being released now. And we ask that it be recycled, transformed, and transmuted. It's leaving this space. It's in the other. It's being cleared. Take another deep breath in and pull it all the way up. And on your exhale, let it loose. Letting that vacuum continue to cycle. It's clearing you, it's clearing you, it's clearing you. It's lifting off of you all of the tension, all the stress, all the chaos, all the gossip, all the fear, all of the resistance to love. Take a deep breath in. Let it go. The vacuum turns off. We see it float away and we say, thank you. Thank you for being with us. Thank you for protecting us. Thank you for holding us. Thank you for being here to clear us when we're in doubt, when we feel attacked, when we feel disconnected. Please prepare me to be a sanctuary, pure and holy, tried and true, with thanksgiving. I'll be a living sanctuary for you. Please prepare me to be a sanctuary, pure and holy, tried and true, with thanksgiving. I'll be a living sanctuary for you. Give your fingers and your toes a little wiggle. Running a nice long stretch, fingertips all the way through toes. Take your knees into your chest, give your body a nice little hug. And then slowly making your way up to seated, no worries or hurries. When you arrive there, taking your palms at your heart center. Understanding that there is power in making something a priority. And by being here today, you made this a priority. Untangling the tangles through mindfulness and movement. So just thank yourself for that. And we close with an intention. It's an ancient intention, but it's the original intention. It was passed from the heart of my teacher, and I pass it to you. It's that our yoga practice remain steady and that our efforts remain continuous. And that our yoga serves and benefits all beings everywhere. May all beings be safe, be happy, be healthy, be free, and may the thoughts and actions of each of our lives contribute towards this. So we'll join for an Om, inhaling, exhaling, inhale through to make the Om. So big breath in, big breath out, big breath in. Thank you for sharing the space and the practice. The light in me sees and honors the light in you. Namaste.